and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're going to look at our problem for this morning that we're going through. You'll find it as on the TubeView 2024-01-04 problem solving 1 is how it'll show up on YouTube. That's the date and then the problem that I'm recording for that date. Just saying. A friend asks you to watch his iguana. He gives you blank pound of food for blank days. He tells you to feed the iguana the same amount each day. You will have no food left over. How much food will you feed the iguana each day? So Avenue, when you're looking at that, what are you thinking? I wasn't until you called my name. Now I have to start thinking. What do you think, Avenue, when you look at that? Thinking? I'm not. Someone else to call on. AJ.
Hi. So, he gives you, you're going to have to try to divide the pounds of food into the day, the days into the food, pounds of food.
Okay, so the pounds divided by the days. The pounds divided by the days. And if we say he has 1/3 of a pound of food and he needs to divide that evenly for 4 days, as my young friend AJ told me, pounds, which is 1/3, we're dividing it by days, which is 4. Now we're talking about how much you feed the iguana each day. So let me ask Destry, can our answer be a whole number? No. We're starting off with less than 1 pound. So I can't feed them a whole number of food any day. I can't feed them a whole number of food, otherwise I'm going to end up with more than 1/3 of a pound. So I know my answer has to be a fraction. Now there's a way to model it. So here's 1, and I need to have thirds. So each of these is 1/3 of a pound. And if I divide my 1/3 of a pound into 4 days, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how much that'll be in 1 day. But that doesn't tell us really how much this piece is worth, because I've got to have all of them be the same size. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this part right here is 1 out of how many pieces? 12. 1 out of 12 pieces. So 1/3 divided by 4 is 1/12. So they'll feed the iguana 1/12 of a pound of food each day. Because when your friend gets home and you don't want to have any left over, because if you have left over, then you didn't feed the iguana enough, your friend will be mad, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, he's almost here, and you'll have to eat the rest of the iguana food. Nobody wants to do that. You do not want to have to eat iguana food. I'm just saying. It's not tasty.
Have you had it?
No.
Well, I cannot answer that question. The CIA has told me I cannot admit whether or not I have eaten iguana food. So I'm just throwing that out there.
That means yes.
All right. Now, one of the things you're going to have to look at today is the inverse operation. So if I asked you inverse operation. So if I asked you, here's my equation, 1/3 divided by 4 equals 1/12. What is the inverse of division? Multiplication. So if I write the inverse of this, at what multiplication equation would be the inverse of 1/3 divided by 4 equals 1/12? Yes. 1/12 times 4. And 1/12 times 4 would equal what? 1/3. I don't understand how you did that, Mr. McMurdo. Well, let's talk about that. Let's use whole numbers. If I said 30 divided by 5 equals 6, could you tell me the inverse equation? 6 times 5 equals 30. That's the inverse operation. All we did is do like this. And every one of you can do this. Every one of you, if I said, hey, here's an equation, tell me the inverse operation or the inverse equation, you would be able to do this with no problem. It doesn't get any more difficult just because there's fractions in it. Okay? Pregunta. Now we could also check this too. We could go 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 and add that together 4 times, checking with multiplication. Because if we look over there, multiplication, one way to do it is repeated addition. That's what it is repeated addition. So questions. Most awesome sauce. You may get on